This is actually a really useful model. If you are going to have if you are in significant potential conflict with someone, how do you actually have that conversation in a productive way? So one of the things I found is this study was initially done on Fortune 500 companies, and the most successful organisations in the world were partially defined by how well they dealt with what we call performance management issues. So the degree to which they maintain the standards of employee behaviour, and if an employee stepped out of line or perhaps their performance needed to be addressed for whatever reason, successful organisations were more likely to have the conversation and address their performance. Does that sort of follow? Okay. All right, now what they did is they utilised a method. There is a book out there, it's called Real Conversations or Crucial Conversations, and it outlines a methodology for having what we call a challenging conversation. In your sort of coaching, what would you define as a challenging or crucial or critical conversation?
Dropping a player.
Yeah, okay, so dropping a player would be, especially if they perhaps were a borderline, they didn't maybe see it coming. What else might be?
Change of position, suggesting change.
Yeah, it could be, absolutely. Yeah, what about some performance issues in terms of behavioural?
Discipline?
Yeah, discipline should always be one. A situation like that should have been something like this. All right, so it's any time when the stakes are high and the emotions of probably yourself and also the other person involved are relatively elevated. Okay, so therefore it's not a conversation that you just jump into and have off the cuff. Okay, it requires planning and consideration. Okay, now there are a number of steps involved which are outlined in your book. But essentially, if you were going to have one of these conversations, how would you actually structure it before you actually started talking? What I'm getting at, would you tell the player in advance that you needed to? Yeah, look, Simon, we need to have a chat. And, I was thinking on Tuesday afternoon you could come into the office or we could meet. What? Neutral territory? What? The reality is that if it's this critical a conversation, the point is that they're going to need time to prepare. You're going to tell them. Yeah, so we need to have a conversation about your behaviour from the weekend, or we need to have a talk about your performance from the last, over the last month. And, I'd like to have that chat. The assistant coach is also going to be coming along. If there is a player welfare person or a liaison, someone in that role, they may want to bring them too. But remember, this is not just a, off-the-cuff conversation. It's a serious conversation. Okay, but we're going to have it in a really productive way. And so you should say to them, look, come prepared to chat about your performance, and if you need to bring any sort of, evidence or data or anything that you need to, prepare and support yourself, you should be coming with that as well. All right. And so once they're there, the next thing you need to take care of is the fact that you sort of did it to some degree. You gave them time to prepare. You've got to make sure that the environment that you're going to have this conversation is what? It's controlled, it's not going to be interrupted, and it's going to be safe. All right, it must be safe. Safe for who? Everyone. Yourself and them. So once they're there, they're in your office, they're sitting down, when it means share your facts. What's that about? What do you think? Share your facts. Yeah, look, the facts are, if you're talking about a player's performance over the last month, what might be the facts? What would you say? Yep. Exactly. Okay, so you specifically talk about the facts. Now, in between each of these steps, there is a critical thing that we should be seeking. What do you think it might be? Yeah, sort of like feedback, but specifically you want to be seeking agreement. Now, it's pretty hard to disagree with facts, especially as you're going to use them, because that is the actual statistics which have been gathered on the game. If it's a player's behaviour as opposed to their performance in a match, then it may be a little bit harder. Okay, so you share your facts and you say, look, Simon, do you agree with these facts as they're presented here? And I say, oh yeah, that's pretty much it. That's how I've been playing. Okay, so look, what I want to let you know is you're probably aware of this and the impact that your performance is having on the team is that it's causing this and it's causing that and it's creating these issues with these players. But when you tell your story, you're actually not just talking about the facts now, you're talking about the implications, the impact that it's having on the team, the people, the club, the organisation, coaching, the other stuff that's going on around the edges. It's the actual story of the facts. Then once again, you've got to ask for agreement. Can you sort of see that that's happening? Can you see that this is impacting the people around you? And they say, yeah, I can see that that's a bit of an issue. So look, tell me about it then. Tell me, what's your story? You know, give me some of your reasons as to why we're in this position right now. Now at that point, what should you do? Just listen. You know, sit back, listen, make notes, you know, ask questions, get them to flesh it out, be empathic, understand where you're coming from. Now, the thing up until this point, what has been your intention for having this conversation? Why are you having it? Okay, to let him know that may not be playing. What else?
Well, it's at the stage goes to the next level.
Yeah, and so the intentions for having it is to absolutely clearly make him aware of that, and then potentially to either take him away from the team with the aim of eventually what? Do you want to bring him back? Do you have a plan for improving the performance? Do you want to keep them as part of the team, or is your intention to kick him out? And so that's why it's so important. You've got to be thinking, hang on, what is my intention here? Am I planning on keeping this player around, or am I actually planning on making it a transition out of the club? Okay? Because what happens next is you're supposed to talk tentatively. Now what that can mean is that, look, Simon, we all know that in football, as in any sport, you know, players are going to go potentially through stages where maybe their performance is a little bit not what it should be. You know, they're going to go through times when perhaps, you know, they're not feeling up to playing, and that's just the reality of life in football, but we've got to find a way to get over that. But what I'm saying is this can potentially happen to everyone. Okay, so I don't want you to feel like you're being singled out because we're having this conversation now. But when you talk tentatively to someone, what does it give them the opportunity to do? Improve and save face too. So that they can come out of that conversation with a level of pride still intact. And based on that, you say, right, so look, this week, it's my intention that you'll be not playing in the game. And instead, what I'd like you to do is I've got this plan that I'd like you to go over with me right now. This is a plan that we've put together as a staff to essentially improve your performance. Is that what you want to do? Are you interested in seeing the plan? Okay, now if you are, okay, let's come around here and let's have a look at it. And you go through the plan, you encourage testing, you get some of their input as well. You might say to them, how do you see this plan? Do you have anything you'd like to add to it? Do you see any other ways that you can improve your performance? What can we do to help you? Now, if you're going to kick them out of the club, obviously that part of the conversation is different, right? And that's where you go in a different direction.